this place? Soundwave's old workshop. Just dump your trash anywhere. He doesn't care.
Uh-oh. He started.
Better get moving.
Yeah, I'm in no hurry to please Starscream. So far, his leadership has been a complete disaster.
Alright guys, welcome back. This time in Let's Play Fall of Cybertron, we're going to be resurrecting Megatron. That's right. You didn't think he was dead for good, did you? That would be a horrible spike in G1 continuity. Anyway, now we're in control of Soundwave, and his one and only task is to revive his precious boss. The one and only thing he lives for. So we're given a new weapon here by Laserbeak, the EDK Tech Volt, which is essentially the Energon repair ready in this game, except better. And it has a arc ability, which means it can the beam can travel from one enemy to another. So it's actually pretty good. No, I don't really like to use it that much, but it's used in this sequence for repairing Megatron. So we're going to go ahead and use the levers again that this game has become so known for. And we have to move his arms in when the beam is white instead of purple. I'm not sure why, but you just kind of have to jab around the stick to get it to stay close. That's what I usually do anyway. That's the fastest way of doing it, I've discovered. But we are constructing from scratch an entirely new body for Megatron, and hopefully this one will be better than the previous one. Because Soundwave is just awesome like that, and he's able to make something that awesome. After all, true gladiators are not born, they are made, I suppose you could say. So Soundwave is making one of his own that will be the best anyone has ever seen. Anyway, we're going to send Rumble up there to retrieve his head, because he's obviously the most qualified person to do so. Why does this remind me so much of the scene where Anakin is being put in the Darth Vader armor in Star Wars Episode 3? Except without the whole no. Then we have to electrocute Megatron with the EDK Tech Volt and bring him back to life.
Circuits online. Where am I? Chaos, my lab near the gladiator arenas. Where is Starscream?
Decepticons! A new age is upon us. Gone are the failures of Megatron.
Ah! Enjoy your brief respite as leader. It will not last. Rejoice, my Decepticons. Victory is nearly ours.
Hells to the yeah, Megatron is back. Now, I honestly really like Megatron's new body in this game. Also, we're given by Rumble the Riot Cannon, which is Megatron's new signature weapon. It's a lot better than the Fusion Cannon in the previous game. What's also a lot better is his hover ability, which actually is effective in combat, as we'll be demonstrating later. So Megatron pretty much plays exactly the same as he did in the previous game, but he is a lot more powerful now, and you'll figure out why. But yeah, I like his new body. And Megatron is pissed. It is time for him to kick ass and chew bubblegum. Unfortunately, he's a robot, so he can't chew bubblegum. Now, I'm not exactly sure what triggers this, but on certain occasions I've found that a room opens up behind this Teletrain 1 machine, and there's like some little claw machine mini game you can play back there. Again, I'm not sure what triggers it, but it's a nice little thing you can do, and it's kind of cool. You see Megatron collecting the Combaticon toys out of the claw machine.
Coronation, Starscream. This is bad comedy.
Megatron! Decepticons! I am your true leader now, and I order you to attack Megatron.
Yeah, they just directly quoted the Generation 1 movie. In fact, they pretty much ripped it off. Anyway, there's our demonstration of Megatron's now awesome hover ability.
From
Huh, Starscream has the crown and everything.
Is now loyal to me.
Yeah, this is literally the scene from the Generation 1 movie, except instead of being reborn as a Galvatron, we're still just Megatron. Or a better Megatron, but we're still just Megatron. Now, High Moon Studios made a very good point about, they heavily tried to make this point across that they were not keeping in line with Generation 1 canon when it came to this game. So they were going to violate the canon wherever they saw fit. Now, in the first game, because it took place before the events of Generation 1, it was acceptable that a few things would be different. But in this game, since we're really creeping up on the Generation 1 canon, everything kind of has to be set in place by the end of this game for Generation 1 to actually happen properly. So there are a few things that they're going to be different, but I don't think it's enough of a big deal, especially if they have plans for it to tie into a third game, which I don't believe they do at this time. So enough of me rambling. We have an encounter to break out, and at the Teletrain one, I picked up the X-18 Scrapmaker, and my main strategy here is I'm going to be running around utterly annihilating these guys with the riot cannon, and then going to be jumping up in the air with the hover ability and attacking them with the X-18 Scrapmaker from the air, and then slamming back down with the, because you want to make sure you use the slam attack with the hover ability before you run out of time for it, because then it will essentially be wasted, because that's the best part about it. That's something you couldn't do in the previous game. All it did in the previous game is allowed you to hover slightly higher than you would normally be able to jump, and it allowed you to have slightly increased damage. So it was really crappy in the previous game. In this game, it's amazing. It's not as good as, it'll never be as good as that first time you just used it there in essentially the tutorial part. And there's other weapons around here, but you really wouldn't want to use any of these other weapons because the riot cannon is just so amazing. It's probably the most powerful primary weapon in the game, and I've deliberately withheld from using it until this moment because I feel like it's Megatron's signature weapon. But this whole encounter here, we're basically just going to be fighting endless waves of enemies until Starscream finally gives up and we go to annihilate him. This weapon is also fully upgraded, and its final upgrade is called the Planet Buster, which means the final shot in the clip, as I'm going to demonstrate right now, will have a ridiculous amount of splash damage and deal 600%, not 600 times, 600%, so basically 6 times as much damage as a normal shot would, and it's ridiculously powerful. But you have to empty the entire clip in order to use it. So it's kind of like the the thing with the Path Blaster. I can't remember what it's called now, because it has a really weird name, but it's awesome. So yeah, Megatron is going to be ridiculously overpowered, and as a result, he's going to be pretty fun to play as. But yeah, I'm probably never going to swap Megatron's primary weapon, just because I want to use the riot cannon as his signature weapon. The fact that we can drop our primary weapon in this game is nice, but again, I just don't want to. I want to keep it as his signature weapon. Now, I like the name Riot Cannon, but obviously it's not called the Fusion Cannon anymore, which is Megatron's signature weapon. Now we gotta fight some snipers, but again, they're pretty much a pushover. Megatron is a Titan-class character, which I corrected myself on from the previous mission, or the mission before that, rather. And the Destroyers are the leaders, the Titans are the tanks. So he is a tank, and he has an obscenely powerful tank mode. And now we're still fighting Decepticons, so we're going to be fighting Leapers, but now we can beat these Leapers at their own game. We can leap with them and melee them in midair, which is completely badass. Also, using the Planet Buster on these guys is a pretty effective way of killing them because, well, darn it, we reloaded for some reason. But hitting them in the back with the X-18 Scrapmaker is pretty effective too. But still, I like using the hover and just mailing them in midair. It makes Megatron feel so menacing that he can just like run up and hit them in the face. Oh, that was awesome. That might be the most badass thing I've done in the game so far. But yeah, Megatron with the fully upgraded riot cannon and the 200% health. Just ridiculously powerful. Like, we've pretty much just broken the game open. Megatron is still voiced by the same guy as he was in the previous game. I don't know the guy's name. It's not Frank Welker though, and but he does an amazing job. He really does. He's a welcome addition to the cast, even though he's not as familiar to me as the rest of the cast is. Alrighty, time to deal with Starscream's treachery.
Starscream, your mockery of a reign is over.
You will pay for this, Megatron.
So that was enough to break his crown, which means he'll have to get a new one in the movie. But it wasn't enough to utterly vaporize him like when we were Galvatron.
Worth the time. Starscream's penchant for self-worship has severely drained our energon supply. What's the plan, sir? Before my attack on Autobot City...
So that's it. That's pretty much this entire mission. We freed the Combaticons, and now we can proceed with Megatron's devious plans for revenge against Optimus Prime. So, insert the Megatron statue here, and there's an achievement in this mission for destroying every single image of Starscream, including all his statues, which is pretty easy to get. But, yeah, this is where the game is going to heavily violate G1 canon. And all you hardcore fans like myself are just going to have to forgive the game for it, because that was the intention. So I'm sure they have something planned for a third game where this is going to tie into it. But remember, Starscream is now on a rebellious rampage, so... Oh, hey, look, Shockwave. Love how we just tower over him, too.
Excellent. I assume you've already found a suitable planet.
Affirmative. The world is primitive, but rich with raw energy. All that we require now is a space transport with a strong enough power core to fly us there.
I'll handle that. Shockwave, ready your tower. We leave now.
Alrighty, let's get going. We've got a lot of catching up to do.
Megatron. The crater where Triptychon crashed when he fell from orbit. Think that monster is still
Oh, hey, look. You guys remember him, don't you? Surprised he's still alive.
Megatron, we're taking heavy fire. Brace for impact.
He shall be our next objective.